Jos is going to do a 20-minute or 25-minute summary on the topic on batteries. And then we're going to be able to, go into questions and answers and clarifications. And I think, important, for today's session is to look at what are the key areas, of cost efficiency, the life of the battery. And I think in some of your colleagues who are from Limpopo and some from Northern Cape, how temperature affects the battery. But we'll just wait a minute, colleagues, more, and it is now 1 minute plus 2. Let's just give everyone 2 minutes more. We have, I think, 35 people, 36 actually, and we should be good to go. Jos, you all well? How's the Netherlands?
Yeah, it's getting, the weather is getting worse now. We are moving into the fall, and so less sunshine, and but in South Africa it's the opposite. So
yeah,
it's getting warmer now.
So you're going to get to experience some of our best weather when you come to oversee some of the practical classes. You're going to see the best weather in the world. Maybe slightly too hot for you, Jos.
No problem. I have been in Africa many times, so I can withstand that.
Okay, fantastic. So colleagues, it is 2 minutes past 2. We're just going to wait a minute more before we actually start. This is lesson number 3. It is on batteries. We've got one more lesson left, colleagues, which is next week, and which is going to be on solar sizing. So we're going to just see how that one works out. And if and then post that for middle of November, we're going to start scheduling some practical one-day sessions in person, across the different sites, but we'll keep you updated. We may need some help on that practical sessions. And in the next 10 days, we'll drop you an email, and on the chat, we will invite businesses to see if they want to help on the practical session by being coached by an expert and helping us install that practical. But we only have about 5 or 6 places. It's more of like you being the local company to do the running around, buy the equipment for us, but you got to be able to be qualified and have all the certifications, the COCs. But we'll make everyone apply aware, and then we only have about 5 or 6 opportunities. But we'll keep you all updated, and that'll probably happen in 10 days' time. But we can talk more about it on Monday next week. Cool. I see there is a thing, Akash, the sound is echoing. Marinda, am I echoing?
No, perfectly fine on my side.
Jos, am I echoing?
No.
Johannes, Kedaboni, is there an echo in my voice? Is it all okay?
You're perfectly fine on my side.
Okay, fantastic. Hi, Lucia. Okay, colleagues, I think, Randall, it may be on your side, that connectivity. Colleagues, we're going to start and kick off. It is 4 minutes past 2 o'clock. We have 45 people in the classrooms. It's nice to see everyone. We're expecting between 50 to 60 in today's classroom, and we're going to get kick-started. Hi, Shamantha. You sneaked in. You didn't say hello.
Hi, Kash. Hi, everyone.
Cool. How's the interviews going?
Oh, beautiful. Lovely. Thank you.
Fantastic. Colleagues, we're going to start. So today's lesson is very, very much around batteries. So you'll take a few steps back. We first started off a little bit around energy usage, some introduction to solar. We did a hybrid kind of system, a grid and hybrid overview. And then today we talk about one of the key elements, and in South Africa it is actually the battery element of it. So important in today's discussion in the class is the cost, the efficiency, the life of the battery, and the temperature. So I'm going to hand it over to Jos in The Hague, and he's going to do an overview. You're welcome to post your questions on this chat or your questions on the WhatsApp chat. Jos, over to you.
Thank you, Akash. Good afternoon, everyone. Today's session on batteries. The video has been, there was a performance of Martijn Schootstra, who is my colleague in PUM. He is especially working also in his company on rural electrification, so a lot of business in Africa. And my background on batteries is that when I started my career a long time ago in 1987, I did even a few years research on batteries. So I have quite some background. So let's see what we can do and if we can answer all your questions. So let's go briefly through the presentation that you have seen. And I hope that you have looked at it, all of you, that you have the necessary background and that you gone through the handout. And let's see where we are. So what will we do? Some battery time, some lifetime purchasing in practice, and lithium. First, some remarks is that a battery is a very important component of the total system. Basically, you have two types of batteries, which is lead acid, which is the, let's say, the older type, but it is still widely used. And we have the newer technology, which is called lithium. I would also like to learn what most of you are using now in practice. I think it is lithium, but there will be some lead acid around the place also. So I would like to learn also from you in this case what is at the moment the focus that we should have. So a few general remarks on batteries. They are the most expensive component. Often half of the system cost is the battery. And next to that, the solar panel is something that is on the roof or on the ground, and it doesn't move and it doesn't do anything, only generating electricity. It has a very long lifetime when you do all the connections well, and when you have a good product. I recall the picture that has been sent 1 hour ago, where you see a big burning on the roof, and I would also like to discuss with the one who sent it in what is the real reason he thinks behind this problem. But batteries have a relatively short lifetime. Don't forget that. Typically 4 to 6 years is in this presentation. It can be longer, especially lithium has a longer lifetime. But when you use it wrongly, it is not. It will go down anyhow. When you have a battery in your system, you are more expensive than a normal grid connected. That is straightforward. And selecting the right battery type is also not so straightforward. Of course, manufacturers claim a superior performance, but that is not always the case. Let's see where we end up. And some conclusions in this respect. Lead acid batteries still commonly used. No clear winner. Okay, this is a little bit an old statement. The lithium batteries becoming more competitive or are already widespread. And the cost we can compare batteries by cost per cycle, cost per kilowatt hours. So we go into that. And you see also some new technologies. If needed, we can go into that, but normally these are not ready for the market in rural areas or in these kind of applications that we talk about here. Okay. So some typical things, depth of discharge, that I think it's all clear to you. But remember, a battery is not a steady thing. A battery is like a bucket when you can store energy, or a bucket when you can store water, but it is leaking. It has a hole inside. And when you talk about depth of discharge, you never know where the bottom is, or you don't know it exactly. So always take care when you talk about a battery and the state of charge that it is always estimated. So from left to right, to make it simple, depth of discharge here is 0%, and this one in the left one with a state of charge of 100%, a fully charged battery, and the other one is 50-50, and so that speaks for itself. But just that you know exactly what we mean, what we see as depth of discharge and what is state of charge. Then a battery is losing capacity over time when you make a lot of cycles and when the battery is aging. You think that you have a battery of 1 kilowatt hour, but you only have 0.8 or 0.5 or whatever. So that part of the battery is inactive. So always keep that in mind, that you never know what is exactly inside of the battery because you don't know its age. So always expect that the last 10 or 20% could also be 5% or even 0. Then very important is the C rate. It's just to say, how do I charge or discharge a battery? With what kind of current? When you talk about C1, you charge or discharge the battery in its total capacity in 1 hour. When you talk about C10 and you have a 100 ampere hour battery, you charge or discharge with 10 amps. That means in 10 hours you can discharge the complete capacity. And this is important to know when people speak about C2 or C10, then you know with what kind of current or what kind of energy weight the battery is charged or discharged. So C20 current will discharge the battery in 20 hours. For 100 ampere hour battery, this means 5 amps. Just as an example. Then this, you see this very often in on data sheets of batteries, or when people talk about batteries, that on this axis you see the depth of discharge, and here the number of cycles, and the lines give basically the lifetime of the battery. So how many cycles you can cycle the battery from empty to full. Depending on the depth of discharge and depending on the temperature. And what you see here is that when you have a very high depth of discharge, so when you have cycles every day, you charge the battery full and then you discharge the battery to 80% or even more, but you discharge it full, then your lifetime is only 1000 cycles. So within 3 years, your battery is expected to be end of life. And that is not so much different of the temperature. Of course, the temperature does something. And when you have lower depth of discharge, so you discharge the battery only partly, 20 to 30% in this range, you see that you can have much more cycles, so the battery life is increasing quite heavily. So you can go up to 3,000 cycles, which means what is it, 9 years or 10 years? So let's see, and there the temperature is much more of an influence. So when you have a very moderate climate, or when you put the battery in an air-conditioned room, whenever that is possible, and you don't discharge the battery where you only use very shallow cycles, then you can see that you have quite a long lifetime. With this type of battery, and the example is given by Hoppeke, and Hoppeke is one of the larger German manufacturers of batteries. But this is a typical line of lifetime of the battery versus depth of discharge and depending on the temperature. Very well that this is understood well. That the higher the temperature, the shorter the lifetime, the bigger the depth of discharge, the shorter the lifetime. So always when you design systems, maybe it's good that you take a larger battery. It is a somewhat higher investment, but your cycles will be lower and your lifetime will be longer. And that means that at the end of the line, you can be cheaper in terms of energy exchange. So then some words on the types of batteries. These kinds of batteries, these are common in the market. These kind of blocks, normally 12 volt between the poles, six battery cells of 2 volt. Now you can see it here also here. Most of the time these batteries are gel type nowadays. Victron is a Dutch supplier, and this one is I think Chinese, and this is German. Some small changes, HEM gel, lead carbon, but all of these batteries are closed, so more or less maintenance free. Sometimes you still have open batteries, and like this one. These ones are large batteries which are used in larger systems, professional systems. You also have them in gel type. Of course, it goes without saying that these batteries are more expensive than the smaller ones, the blocks. And more expensive, larger dimensions, but you can your applications are much broader. Okay, normally these comes with 2 volt cells. One of this is a battery cell of 2 volt, and then when you want to make a larger battery out of it, you connect them in series, and also strings of that in parallel. We come back to that later. Here you see an example of a big battery room for a mini grid. These are Hoppeke batteries in flooded type. These white things, plugs, are there to regenerate hydrogen, which is escaping from the battery, and that you don't have a lot of hydrogen gas into the battery room. But this is an example of a big battery room. Of course, in small house installations, you only have 1 or 2 or 3 of these blocks that I showed before. Then, OPZS is a flooded wet type battery, requires maintenance. When you have an open battery and you have to add water, only use demineralized water. This is a standard thing. And never use electrolyte from one cell to the other. Don't use normal water. You kill the battery in a very short time. And to prevent all this and to make a battery maintenance free, nowadays these types come as a gel battery, which is of course also more expensive. But anyhow, when you have a maintenance free battery and your lifetime is longer, under harsh conditions even, then it is often worthwhile to make this investment for larger systems. So once again, OPZ3 flooded, yeah, you have different types, and gel is always maintenance free. The spiral batteries you see in very limited numbers, is also not especially for solar, but it is from a mechanical point of view, it can be used in machines that have a lot of vibrations. Then, yeah, a very important remark is that people ask sometimes, can I use the most cheap battery that I can find on the market and that I can find on every corner of the street, which is called a car battery? Can I use that in solar systems? And the answer is yes, you can. It will work, but it will not work that long. And a car battery, starter ignition battery, is able to deliver a high current in a very limited amount of time. So only to start a car. 1 second, 2 seconds. And you know by experience when your car is not working well and you start your engine and it is you only run the battery, then after, let's say, 1 minute of trying to start the car, the battery is empty. And so it can produce a lot of energy in a short time. Here it is compared with a sprinter. And contrarily, in UPS and telecom systems, when you use these batteries, they are designed for a long life, a long standby life for backup power. But not necessarily for deep and frequent cycling. So you need something in between. So a long distance runner is maybe also not the right application for solar. So what you need is something in between. And so basically for solar, which you can say solar is the most severe condition for operating a battery. Yeah, the batteries have been designed for cars or have been designed for standby applications, but batteries originally designed for forklifters or these kind of things are much more suitable. And you see these specific types here mentioned, and within this circle, these are best for solar. And I still talk about lead acid batteries here. So lithium batteries will come later. So remember the starter batteries are not that well suitable, but the best for solar tubular plate in professional applications, and you see this gel type flat plate in small box for solar, which is also common on the market. Then buying batteries. You can say, okay, my supplier knows what I need, and I just buy what is available. That is fine in first place when you can trust your wholesaler. But also ask sometimes or compare batteries between lifetime and capacity, and try to see where do I find the information on the data sheet when I look to lifetime versus depth of discharge? Do I see differences? Do I see differences in terms of temperature behavior? And do I see difference in terms of capacity versus sea weight? All these graphs are normally on the data sheet, and see if you can find the differences and if you can compare them also in price. Normally when you go for a higher lifetime, of course your price is also higher. And so try to see if batteries are certified, if batteries come from a trusted source. The European type batteries you can normally trust, but if you have batteries coming from China or sometimes from Africa or from India, always know what you are doing. So capacity often defined in number of cycles until 80% capacity has been reached. So it is often sold as this battery can last for 3,000 cycles or 6,000 cycles. But remember that this is depending on the depth of discharge. Is it daily 50% or is it daily 80% or even more? So the capacity will go down when you go to a higher depth of discharge. Remember that. So this is a comparison of, in the end, the levelized cost of storage. And then you see that the lowest number is not always the cheapest battery. In this case, the most expensive battery has the longest cycle lifetime. So in terms of total cost of ownership or cost during the lifetime, you are the lowest. But it requires a higher investment. Sometimes these numbers are close to each other, which is in this case the case, but sometimes you see much larger differences. When you see a few data sheets of batteries, or when you surf the internet, try to find these comparisons. Try to see if you can make this calculation and see if there are differences. So this is quite a complex equation, levelized cost of storage. But if you look at it carefully, then you see CAPEX and OPEX. This is the investment, the CAPEX. The OPEX is the operational cost. So what costs do you require for maintenance or replacements? But normally maintenance. When it is completely maintenance free, remember, nothing is completely maintenance free. A battery you always have to check once or twice per year. If all connections are tight, if there is not growing something on it, and if you're not leaking anything, whatever, so it needs any maintenance, at least a little bit. Residual value is the value that you can get back when you recycle it. So you can distract that from the investment. And then here on this side, you have the lifetime, the number of cycles, the depth of discharge. And in this example, you see already that lead acid, we say 50%. And lithium, you can go more, you can go deeper That's why lithium is has a longer lifetime. And then something thing as a round-trip efficiency in percent. That means when I put charge inside the battery and I distract the charge again, or the energy, how much do I lose? So when you charge a battery, this goes with a certain efficiency which is not 100%. When I discharge it, you also lose something of heat, but not so much. But charging and discharging, you can have a round-trip efficiency. For lead acid, it's about 85%. You are lucky when you reach this. For lithium, it's a little bit higher. And then when you calculate all these things, you find this levelized cost of storage, which is a nice number to compare different types of battery or different investments. So some aspects. Compare capacity to same C rate, same cell voltages. Of course, you should compare apples to apples, but know what you are comparing. Yeah, this is a nice one. Also check weight. You can go to some places where they say you I sell you a battery of 100 ampere hours, but there is nearly nothing in it. These examples exist. Maybe some of you have experienced it, but you can put a very small battery inside a big box, and when you sell it, it works. But when you use it for 1 or 2 days, the battery is empty, or it's not working anymore. So this can be a nice check if there is not a very small battery inside a larger box. And then also this is important. When you check at your wholesaler, how long is he having batteries in stock? When a battery cannot be stored for a long time without charging, this is a fact, because there is always loss of energy, and when the battery is completely empty and you store it, you will not be able to recharge it again. So this means always have a look that you have a fresh battery. Very important. Then some examples in numbers. I will skip this for a moment, and then I go quickly through the battery in practice. Charging, we saw this already at the lesson on the controller. When you charge it with a current, then you reach a certain voltage, then the current goes down to a drip charge, and here you can top up and a flow charge. So this is the way of how controllers are designed to charge the battery in optimal way. This should go automatically inside your system, and your charge controller should be designed in that way. That is also the reason that you use a charge controller, not to overcharge the battery. Discharging. Remember that when you charge the battery with a high current, the capacity is lower. When you discharge a battery with a low current, like C20, and the battery is defined 100 ampere hours in C10, when you discharge with only 5 amps, there is more charge in it, or there is more availability of charge in the battery. Never discharge a battery completely. When you go below 50%, it can be for a short period of time, but the battery should be quickly charged again after that. And a good charge controller takes care of that. Then a battery bank to connect it. just in series and parallel, just like the same as you do with solar panels. Nothing secret on that. Always take care that in the different lines you have the equal resistance. This is the best to do it like this is of course the best thing to do. And unequal resistance leads to unequal charging, and then you should prevent that. This is rather detailed. And you have battery management system or balancers to do this. In lithium batteries, this is more common than in lead acid batteries. So these are available. Avoid permanent loss of capacity. Avoid overcharging, not left in discharge state. I already mentioned that. Let's go quickly through this. Batteries are charged once a year by AC charger during 48 hours. This can be done to boost the batteries, but when you have a good controller, it takes care of that. But that can also be the type of maintenance that you charge the battery once again, that you give them a boost charge. So source controller is important. And then this maintenance. Keep a high state of charge of the battery. Then you keep them healthy. And keep it clean. Checking electrolyte. And don't think that your battery is completely maintenance free. That is not true. Checking electrolyte, this is for open batteries. And safety, this is dangerous, this acid which is inside the battery, so use gloves, do not smoke, avoid short circuit, all these kind of things. Recycling of lead acid batteries is possible to a high amount, so don't throw batteries away, but sell it. The lead inside has a value. Then quickly to lithium. Different types and on the market already for some time, and this is going quickly. They are quickly replacing the lead acid nowadays, and they have quite some advantages. You can discharge them more than lead acid. Better suited for high temperatures, but this is not something that you can put it in the sun. Always put the battery in the lowest possible temperature, which means after a shed, always need a shed for it, or put it inside the house, but should always be ventilated. You can charge it faster. There are high round trip efficiencies, 95% versus 85 as a rule of thumb. 10 years lifetime expectancy. The degradation is more linear than lead acid, so no sudden death. Low risk for thermal runaway. This is not always true, but always you have to take care on this these things, and they are less toxic. Of course, it also some negative things. You need a battery management system. That is normally in the present types, it is integrated. The costs are higher, initial doubling, but it is declining. I think you know best the situation in the market, that they are more expensive, but when you calculate, as explained before, this levelized cost of storage, you see that it will be lower than lead acid. Recycling is still under development. Already competitive for smaller solar kits, but also in larger systems you see now the competitive is coming. So the battery management system works together with the charge controller and on different types. This is very detailed. I skip this. And when you do a cost comparison, then you see what I said, levelized cost of the electricity. You see now more difference than before, and that lithium is less costly when you look at the total lifetime. Then some other new developments very quickly. Still in development, not commercially available yet, or only in pilot projects or large projects, and not on rural off-grid. Focus is on automotive and telephones. Of course, the total battery development, we can thank the industry of handies, of telephones, for this, because there the lithium has been developed over the years, and as soon as the battery was large enough to charge a phone for a week, it was going quickly with the telephones. You see the same in electric cars, especially now in China and also in Europe, that there was a lot of development going on. All these batteries are basically based on lithium in some kind of composition. But these for large storage systems, you see that there are now coming new ideas like the salt water battery. I had the experience to work together with a company in Holland who was developing this, and this is for, especially the idea is there that you can have very low cost with very large batteries that are suitable for seasonal storage, so that you can store energy for a very long time, which means months, and that you can go through a winter time. And yeah, some other examples, but this salt water is the most promising technology for new batteries in specific applications. So the exercises, maybe we can do that when we are answering questions. So let's see at the moment who has a question and who wants to take the floor to to move further.
Okay, fantastic. I see Ken. Sorry, can you hear me, Jos?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. I see Kent's got his hand up. So Kent, you want to go first?
Good day, team.
Okay.
I've got a few questions here. I want to believe that charging it's the same thing as the what you call energy storage of
Yes.
yes. So now I see that the battery requires at least 48 hours to be recharged with AC. So I don't know, what does that mean?
This is,
And also,
I mentioned that shortly. What is meant there basically is that it is recognizable to when the battery is a long time with no charge, that you give the battery really a boost charge as some kind of maintenance. But when you have a well-designed system and when you have good components, this is normally not the case. Your battery will be every day reach, or at least every few days, reach a full state of charge. When that is the case, you don't need to boost your battery with an external power source like a generator or something, or with the AC grid. The battery is kept healthy in the system itself. But when you experience a situation where the battery is longer time at a lower state of charge, at a lower, let's say, storage level, then it is always good to boost the battery when you have another source available than the solar panels. Does that answer your question, Kent?
Cool. You have another question, Kent? You're on mute.
No, I'm saying if I'm still, I'm answered on that one. If I'm still on the floor, I've got another question to say.
We'll give you one quick one. Go for it.
Okay, how do we measure a room temperature, and yeah, for a good to say this is a good temperature for the battery, so that we avoid energy loss, and also how does he putting the battery directly on the floor going to affect the energy or the capacity of the battery? Then I still have several questions, but then I'll take the second turn. It's okay.
Okay, excellent, cool.
Yeah.
So the first one it says is there an ideal temperature range? And so just be very aware. We have some colleagues from Northern Cape who are Katu, Kuruma, and Postmasburg, which gets very hot. It gets 40 to 50 degrees. We also have some colleagues in Limpopo that also gets between 30 to 40, 45 degrees. So is that ideal? That's the first one. And
now the question is, the higher the temperature, the lower the lifetime. This is a fact you cannot change. But you can try to place the battery at least in a ventilated environment. So always and not place the battery inside in a closed cabinet where there is no airflow at all. Then the temperature will rise in itself, and there is always a higher temperature around the battery. So try to keep the battery as cool as possible. Never place it in the direct sunlight. Always use kind of a shed, and always try to take care that there is a minimum amount of airflow around the battery. You don't need to use fans or something or air conditioners. Of course, you can do that. When you have a larger system, I saw that when you have designed it in a way that there is enough energy. I have seen that batteries are stored in an air-conditioned room. Okay, that is a luxury situation, and then you can really increase the lifetime, but that also costs money. So when you have a small system in a rural area where the normal temperature, ambient temperature is around 30 or even 40 degrees, you cannot change the outside temperature, but you can try to store the battery in a situation where you have never direct sunlight and where you have some kind of ventilation. That is the basic advice for that.
Okay, but now does it make a difference, Kent asked, if you keep the battery on the floor or not on the floor?
When you keep the battery on the floor, put at least some small rafters of wood underneath it, that you have also an airflow on the from down, that is not completely on the floor. But the lower the battery, also the cooler the temperature. When you put it on next to the ceiling, it's always more warm inside of a building.
Okay, fantastic, cool. Colleagues, we're going to take another set of questions going around. There's one in the chat if you just want to answer that. Is it necessary to use the UPS if you already have a battery pack?
Yeah, a UPS, an uninterruptible power supply, is something, is basically also a battery that is used in a situation where you have a grid, and when appliances are connected to it, when the grid is off, you use the battery from this UPS as a uninterruptible power supply, as a backup. So a UPS is something completely different than a solar system.
Okay.
And you see, sometimes it works in parallel, but it is not. You cannot connect it directly, basically.
Okay, fantastic. So, colleagues, one question that Jos asked earlier: what are you guys using, a lead acid or lithium ion? Amongst for those of you all that are using it or installing it or seeing it around, what's more common and popular in your particular area? So maybe we'll just get a few. Ivan, you're saying it's pretty hot in Northern Cape at the moment. So it's 40 degrees, Jos. You can envy that.
Yeah.
Cool, excellent. Vuyo, you want to put your hand up? You're unmute for you.
Good day,
Yeah.
everyone. Hello.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask between the acid, but I can see you mentioned that one. It's fine. I wanted to ask between the acid and the lithium battery, which one is the best? Thank you.
The basic answer to this question is lithium at the moment is the best in quality and the longer in lifetime, but is also more expensive. So, the general experience is at the moment that lithium is more and more replacing lead acid batteries. Lead acid is an older technology, and lithium is a newer technology. But you see now that more and more lithium is being replaced. But I would like to have a feeling of how much is there still lead acid being sold by the wholesalers and being used by you as an installer, or do you only use lithium at the moment?
Okay, so maybe we can ask in the chat class if you can quickly type in what you're seeing more often, lithium ion or lead acid.
There was one nice remark. Batteries get stolen, so you have to keep it indoors. Yes, it is always the point that take care that equipment will not be stolen and take precautions. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to keep it indoor, but protect it against theft as much as possible.
Okay, cool. So it looks like people are using more lithium ion batteries.
Yeah, we use lithium strictly. Yeah, Santilo, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Johannes, you got your hand up, and we'll come back to Kent. Johannes, you just unmute Johannes,
Yes, hi.
please.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes. I normally only use lithium because the lead is are being phased out.
Yeah.
At this in this area, because if you look at the weight of the lead batteries and the weight of the lithium and the size, the lithium battery, as for smaller size, has got the capacity of about 4 lead batteries, which at the end you have storage. It's much better. And one of the other things that I find very difficult is the lead batteries are very difficult to mount on walls, and you need to build the racks, so it becomes more expensive in the long run. And uh, if you don't have a good charge controller, uh, then if it goes below 50 twice, then you can basically throw it away. So it's more convenient and cheaper in the long run to use lithium batteries at this moment. And funny enough, the lithium battery is also phasing out. There's a new battery that's being produced as sodium. So we are going to phase out of lithium as well. And the sodium is that they found out that it's charged quicker and it holds a current longer. So if you look at the big solar plants, they store their energy in sodium. So that's the future. So lithium and lead batteries, I don't even bother to look at lead batteries because they're totally a nuisance now at this moment. If you go cost effectiveness for the customer.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you, Johannes, for this reply. I fully agree. Of course, this new technology of sodium is something that now enters into the market. I'm happy to know that you are already using it. So good to know.
Okay, Lucia, you had your hand up. If not, we're going to go to Kent. Lucia, did you want to ask a question?
Yes, afternoon, everyone. I just want to ask, I have a solar system with gel filled with batteries, and I've been thinking to replace the gel with lithium battery for better power capacity. So I was wondering, is there any special charger that I need to have for lithium battery? Or can I use the ordinary charger like for the car?
Yeah, that depends on the specifications of your battery. When you have 12 volt nominal voltage, then you can use the charger that you use for your car to charge it from AC. But I presume you use this inside of a solar system, or not? So take care of your specifications when you charge your battery with another charger. That then we could maybe separately look to the specs and can advise you.
So maybe we can direct message him, Lucia, Jos, the actual specs. I see Ivan is saying that lithium batteries is not good in Northern Cape. As such, you want to just elaborate on that, Ivan? Are you there, Ivan?
Lithium batteries are not good in Northern Cape, but let us, you can start.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Ivan.
Ivan, go ahead.
Yes, the batteries here, lithium batteries here in Northern Cape is a little bit of a problem. I had 4, and it's very expensive. But then I change it and I go back to lead batteries. And the lead batteries, I can put it in the car and I can jump start it. And then the lead batteries, it's like when the lead batteries a certain time that the power go down. So I use it on the TV and I use it on washing machine and fridge. And then when I started with the car, I can watch TV for 4, 5, or 6 hours. But the lithium batteries, 3 or 4 months, and it's costing 6,000 rand, and it's too much for one. But the lead battery, what I do, I take the caps off and I put more acid in, or I put more distilled water, and then I got the new battery again. Thank you. That's all I have. And I'm using now the solar. I'm using it for 15 years. It's quite long. That's the reason why the other day I was asking about the wires. I'm only having a problem with the wires because now and then I must put new wires in. But but it's only problem that I have.
I think, Ivan, you have an example of a situation where you take very good care of your battery, and you recharge it with another source regularly, and then you can extend your lifetime. That is correct. At a considerably low cost.
Yes, and the inverters I'm having this 200 watt inverters. I'm having a 60 amp regulator. So the regulators they actually very good. I don't have no hybrid, but I'm having this very good regulators, and this regulators I'm having now for quite a while. I bought it from. It's not so expensive, but it is a good quality.
Yeah. Okay. So do you have an installation company? You sell to other people as well?
I do sometimes help other people. You see, Josh, but now as that's the reason why I'm on this program, that I can advance my knowledge, and so that I can know all the things, the pros and the cons of the batteries. It's actually a matter of fact. When I was a child, we used to do solars to drive at night cars, but we used salt water and this globes for lightning and at night. So that is actually where my interest started. Now that I'm bigger, the solar plants come in, and so I would just want to broaden my perspective of this. And as you said, later on I can manage to market and sell, with your help, you guys help the site,
Okay, excellent.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Great,
there's a comment from a question from Benson. It does not. It says replace gel, a liquid from one cell to another. My question is, what's wrong if you do it for batteries of the same rating?
Well, sorry, where was this question?
At 1453, yes, Benson, Kandua. Can you say it?
Wrong if I do so for battery. It's do not replace liquid from one cell to another. Yeah. When you do this in lead acid batteries, you don't know actually what you are doing because the liquid, the acid, has a certain, let's say, concentration of the stuff inside. So and that should not be mixed. When you mix this when you have different concentrations of acid into the fluid, you get cells that have a different state of charge within one battery, and this is then you have a large possibility of a thermal runaway, and that you ruin your battery quite easily. So always that is the ground rule is always to top up with demineralized water, and not to top up with other acid or from another battery or whatever.
Okay, fantastic.
Always only use normal not normal water but demi water.
Okay, excellent. I just maybe we'll ask Ken to go first and then Johannes, but you see there's some other views on Kuruman that they say lithium works better as such, but these are just comments. Cool. Kent, you want to ask your second second question, one more, and then we go to Johannes.
Okay,
Unmute.
thank you again for the opportunity. Maybe I just wanted to check, is there any switch that we can have to monitor the overcharging of a battery? Because because I see one on the aspect of lessening the battery life, it's overcharging the battery. So what can be the causes of overcharging the battery? And is there any system that we can use to monitor the overcharging of the battery so that we avoid such overcharging?
Yeah. When you have a normal, let's say, solar system consisting of panels and a battery, and therefore you use the controller, and the controller always prevents of overcharging. This is the basic function. So always use this controller, because when you don't, when you connect the solar panels directly to the battery, then you don't know what you are doing in case the battery is full. Then the solar panels move on in producing energy, you overcharge the battery, and the lifetime will decrease considerably. So therefore, the controller is in between to prevent that. So that is always the basic rule. Don't skip the controller in the system because you ruin your battery within a month. And your other question was no, that was the basic question. Oh yeah, I still want to know the picture that was sent on the WhatsApp group 1 hour before this meeting. That was a picture of 6 panels with a big burning on the place of the junction box. Can the person who sent in this picture tell us if he knows what happened there? I can think of something, but I would like to know what happened there to use it also further in lectures like this to show people what they should, what even can happen, and when they make mistakes.
Cool, fantastic. So we're waiting for whoever posted that to give us some detail, but just maybe a quick question from Johannes. Johannes's hands has been up for a long time. Johannes?
Yes, hi. I don't have a question. I just wanted to add to Ivan.
Okay.
And I'm also from the Northern Cape. When you speak about charging your batteries, taking your batteries and putting them in the car, I tend to not understand what type of solar system you have there. Because if you go hybrid, it's very difficult for you to use the gel batteries on that, because the system communicates with the batteries. And one other thing I wanted to add on, a rule of law that I learned from when I started doing the solars is that we always have this notion of understanding that the hotter it is outside, the better it is for solar systems.
No.
And it's vice versa. The solar system is entirely dependent on the rays. So a clear sky is what determines how good it performs. So being in the Northern Cape, meaning that we have heat, does not necessarily mean that we have the best efficiency of solar panels. Clear skies is the secret of solar systems, and moderate temperature, as Josh said. If you put your batteries in a room that is with no ventilation and there's no air for the batteries, you obviously not the batteries won't perform as good as in a room where it's dark and it's cool and it's kept cool. So it all depends on how your system is set up. Because normally when I install a system, I look for the place that is the coolest, away from the sun rays, so and away from movement of people for shifting and all those things. So it all depends on how you put your solar system and what type of solar system you're looking for. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay,
thank you for
fantastic.
this confirmation. Fantastic.
Okay.
Going back to this nice
Polite.
picture, I can try
Polite.
to.
Yeah, I just want to see
share
Polite
it,
is in the class. Polite, are you here?
Hello, guys.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I will just go straight there because I was doing on that picture of the bent solar panels. I was going through doing my research on Google, checking what can be the fault and what can damage the solar systems. So I came across that picture. And then I've gone through it, and then what was the cause of that thing? One of the cause of the solar system burning is the connections. Remember, we've got the some people do the parallel, and then there's they mix their connection, and then the solar powers they happen to not flow, because when you do a series connection and a parallel connection, and then you don't use the regulator, then you charge straight the battery straight with the solar system. They say that's the one of the things that made the solar panels to burn.
Yeah, yeah. I had already the impression that this could be the cause, that they just connected the battery directly to the battery to the solar panels, and they did the wrong connection. So there is just a shortcut of the short circuit from the battery to the solar panels. And when you have no fuse, no switch, no decent controller, and then you make also the cables the wrong way, then you blow up everything. And this is what happened here, probably. So this probably happened immediately after installation. Can you confirm that, Paul?
No, it's not immediately after installation, because by the way they were upgrading. So one other thing, they mixed the type of
yeah. Okay.
yes. So that's the problem, because they didn't use one material and the type of the solar cells that was
So they
that they
mixed all
used
kind of
before.
things without knowing what to do, and without taking the right precautions. So still, when you have an automatic switch or a fuse inside of the line, you can prevent already this high currents, and then you can prevent. But this is the way of good practice, and thinking what you are doing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Satilo, you got your hand up?
Yes, I was thinking just on that bent solar panels. We've seen in some places where the wires get.
Oh, sorry. Somebody is, you need to be muted, Miranda. Please
Can you
help me.
mute yourself, please? Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Citalo.
Go for it.
Yes. So the wires get brittle on the roof, and if you don't have proper charging controllers, then that also causes earthing between the roof sheeting. If that could also cause a fire on your panels. That's one thing that I've also picked up just doing maintenance in some of the roof panels, that there's no, it's just maybe put in a conduit and leave the because of the heat or the sun here, it gets the wires get brittle and the earth on the roof.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, excellent. There's another possible area as well. Jos, what was your take on it?
I was reading the. Sorry, can you briefly ask your question again, very briefly?
Now the question was this: as Satila was saying, it could be incorrectly earthed if the wires became brittle. But I wanted to know from your perspective, what did you think was the reason for those panels burning out?
Yeah, I think it's a wrong wiring, and not earthing is also a thing. When you have a good earthing, it can also prevent special things. But this looks like another energy source than only the sun has started the burning of the solar panels. So that must be a battery, and then it can only be when the battery is wrongly connected without a fuse. So I see already that Ivan agrees with me. And now this starts a discussion. What about regulations and safety things for batteries? One general remark is never connect a battery to something else without a switch or a fuse inside, in one of the wires. A battery is always DC current, a solar panel also, but a battery can generate more or less an infinite current, or not completely infinite, but it can generate a very high current. A solar panel cannot do that. That's always a limited current. But a battery can generate a high current in a phase of a short circuit. So that means you always have to protect it. Professional batteries at the moment, they come with this battery management system. And this is already, let's say, an integrated kind of security. And when you connect the battery to the grid, to the Eskom grid, there is always an inverter in between. And that means that an inverter is also having his securities and also is produced according to the standards and regulations. So when you follow the guidelines of the producers of this equipment, you are already rather safe. But also always you have to think for yourself what can go wrong and do I connect it in the right way? So always follow the recommendations from the suppliers. That is the basic rule.
Okay, fantastic. Colleagues,
and,
we have
never connect the battery directly to something else. Never do that.
Okay, colleagues, we've got 15 minutes more.
In your car, you are used to do this, but the whole system of a car is also having its fuses and protections. And only when you connect the battery inside of your car, there are two wires, a plus and a minus, and you are safe to connect. But when you have only a battery in your hand or next to you, and you connect it with two wires to something else, then you can always make a mistake, and you can generate a high current out of the battery. So always take care.
Okay, colleagues, I see there's one colleague struggling to connect. But Marinda, maybe we need to share the recording after today's session to the class. Ivan, you got your hand up?
Yes, Akash.
Go for it.
Yes, Akash. I just was to also comment there. The people, they must always those that install the safety the solars. They must always tell their people to always now and again not just feel the wires, because sometimes you just expect something must go right, But you know, the thing is, there's fabric faults on the wires and stuff like that. And the wires, especially, you know, wires that is close together, because they got most that magnetic field around. So when I was at school, we used to have that generator, where the wires, if we got a small spark, now it start to burn. That's actually what I think what happened on the roof, because it was a zinc roof. Now zinc is it also the current it does that, it have that effect that it like a mirror, it reflects the current back. So people. The other thing that I want to talk about is that the solar panel that my colleague of Kuruman asked. I bought the solar panel here by us here by Jam and them. I don't know. It's not a very expensive solar panel, but it is a 550 solar panel, and the other panel I bought it there in Kuruman. So that's one that I having now for 15 years. So the only the things is not so expensive, because when I completed the whole solar system, it cost me 20,000 rand, but it was good for me that time. But now I start to learn and to adapt all the pros and the cons and the safety measures where and the people that I also have to install these things. So a big no-no for people to not to take the solar panel straight to the battery. And the other cautious thing is also is always to keep in mind when you connect the solars, because you not connect the battery first to the controller and then to the solar. Otherwise, it will burn. Always the negative first. Don't leave the positive into something and then you want to change something. Then you're gonna get that where you burn the things.
Okay.
That's only all the things that I pick up, because my solar panels is giving me a lot of stress, and I'm like that guy, you know. As I said, from childhood, we played with electricity. We made our own batteries, so it comes with the territory. Thank you very much, Akash and Josh.
Okay, excellent.
Great.
Okay, excellent. Fantastic. Latani, there's a question from Latani on the chat, Jos. I'm not sure if you're able to see it. 1506. How do solar batteries comply with grid connection requirements? And what standard regulates solar safety and performance of the batteries?
Yeah, I already addressed it, that always connect a battery towards the grid via an inverter. That has to be done anyhow, because you have to make AC out of DC. And this inverter has always been produced according to the standards that are there. But there is also a general standard in terms of what kind of wire are you using, how thick should it be, and these are the general electricity standards that are available in every country.
Okay. And then the next one, can you explain the correct earthing that just came in now?
Yeah. To protect it against lightning, yeah. So basically, the basic rule is that you should take care that all the metal parts of a solar panel, which is the frame, in the solar panel that is always the frame, is earthed, is connected to earth, and also the controller and the casing of the battery. But the plus and minus should never be earthed, or in a normal situation. This always should be separated from earth. And then you have the best, let's say, protection against lighting. In connection boxes, and all that is also standard in controllers and in larger inverters, you have these special devices that that protect against peaks of current. And these are standard already pre-mounted. But if you take care that next to that all metal parts of a system. So all panels are with the frames connected to each other. Normally you secure that already with your mounting system, which is always also in metal, and that you have a good connections there. Then your protection against lightning is secured. That doesn't mean that when you have a direct lightning strike on the solar panel, you demolish everything. Don't forget that this is the case. That a direct strike, you cannot protect yourself against it. But that is very much rare that happens.
Okay, cool. Colleagues, we have 10 minutes more, 8 minutes more before we close up. So just to confirm, guys, Marinda is recording this. She'll share this on this chat. Next week, we're going to do, I think it's Monday, Marinda. Please confirm our meeting's on Monday. There's no handout. It's just for you to watch the recording. And then, yes, in next week's lesson, you're going to do some practical examples in the class, right?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that and go to live on the internet to the specific site to do the sizing. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
That is for next week. But are there any left questions on batteries?
I'm just looking right now quickly. There's nothing on the chat. There's one person struggling. Tebo is struggling to connect. We've answered Lucia's question. Lucia, we've answered your question, right? On the chat, on the WhatsApp chat. Cool, fantastic. That's it. I think that's it for now, Jos. So we get back in the class next week, Monday, 2 o'clock. We'll talk about solar sizing. There's no handout, but there's just a recording of a video that we're going to be that you need to watch. And then and next is like the last question, but it's not the end of the conversation. The WhatsApp chat is open. Then we'll be hoping to by mid of November to come down. We're going to fly down Jos or one or two other experts and come and do a practical, conversation, summarize the different topics that we have, and then also do one installation. And as I've explained out, we've got about 6 to 7 installations. We're going to ask the companies in the chat to help us do the legwork and maybe do 1 or 2 of the actual installation. There's one more that's just come in. What is the best monitoring system you can use to monitor the system on a daily basis? Yes, the last question.
There is a lot of monitoring available. The best advice is that you combine the monitoring system that is available from your supplier of your equipment, which is from the one hand can be the controller, or in often cases the inverter or hybrid inverter. The big brands, they have standard monitoring installed in it. You cannot buy even separately. And they all have the producers who supply this. They all have a platform on internet where you can gather your data. So in this case, you need an internet connection on site, which is often can be done by 4G. And this is where the data is going. It will be stored on a platform on the internet, and you can do analysis via an app that you can download on your phone, and you can see every system that you have installed or where you are connected to. So this is so basically monitoring is offered together with the inverter, and which has a platform on the internet.
Well, colleagues, we are going to close up the class for today. Remember the conversation, and you can still ask questions on the WhatsApp chat. We will meet, as Miranda is confirming, 2 o'clock on the 14th. But if you want to reach out to Jos, you're more than welcome. If you'd like to apply for technical coaching for your company, you can also drop myself an email. We've already met with 3 companies, and we've registered 1 company for their own one-on-one conversation or coaching as such. But the next session is on solar sizing. There's no handout. There'll just be a video. And then in the class, we'll do some live examples, as Jos was saying, live on the internet. And then we'll take it from there. But that's next week. And then in 4 weeks' time or so, we're planning to have practicals. We'll just need to do the logistics. We're going to need 1 or 2 of you to actually assist with the installation. and but we'll make the call to the 5 or 6 companies that are qualified who's got CFC to assist us. Colleagues, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. It was nice, Jos, to have between 60 to 70 people in our class today again. But thank you, Jos. Deep gratitude for making yourself available in The Hague. And we'll see the team next week. Goodbye, team. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
Bye.